because you are so damn talented. But it's not really good. Okay. Now, begin the beginning. Da tampa. So schön, so good, so tired, so lean. There is not one really great performer who wasn't a great teacher. Yeah, but if you come too early, baby, on the last eight, it's no good. So dear, so good, so charm, so good. I always knew that I had to perform, I had to record, and I had to teach. I was born at an age where you could not replenish your musical imagination by gramophone records. Your own imagination, your own vision, your own artistic will had to shape what you played. I remember very well my father, all vital, vibrant, passionate, name it. My mother was really almost hysterical with fear and ambition. Whereas my father was a self-taught man, my mother had an excellent education, but besides, had nothing to do with music, because the parents wouldn't allow her to become a singer. That was her only desire in life. That was unthinkable. Singers, professional women, were naughty ladies, one step removed from the sea. I think that that was a very unhappy marriage, ill-matched. So all the ambition unfulfilled of my mother's was centered on my growing up and being what I have become. I danced as I breathed. I had to dance wherever I heard music. And when I was 5, our famous actress told my mother that if she would allow me, she would make her the greatest dancer ever to exist in the world. My mother didn't, of course, same history. What? My daughter, a dancer. I'm very old, don't forget, yeah? So, no way, can no do. This was a terrible, terrible disappointment for me. A real, almost a breaking point disappointment. Now, I hated the piano really as much as I ever heard the piano, very little really. But when the moment came that I touched it, having sang and being very well versed in improvisation, I could behold, do anything I wanted on that piano. Anything, any melody I knew or heard, I immediately found, plus improvisations, was happy as a lark. But my mother wanted me to be in the academy, heaven knows why. So here we are, I was 8. By the time my mother put it into her head, I must go to the academy. At the Royal Academy, as it was called then, nothing helped you except talent. You could be as rich as hell, and the child of the Prime Minister, never mind. You either were outstanding or not taken. My sweet teacher used the pedal for me. My feet didn't reach the pedal, but it made no difference. There were, I think, some 150, 157 auditions, and I think 12 were taken. I was among the 12 and really created a sensation there. I worked between 2 and 3 hours per day, which is enormous. It's very much. The little time I had to play with my peers was a source of infinite joy and totally carefree, passionate abandon. The daily visits to the zoo from my 7th to my 17th year, the animals knew me, and I knew them by name and by nature. There's no end to what men can learn from animals, and the daily visits to the zoo surely prepared me for what I am doing today. Bartok what a beautiful man. He had eyes, dark, burning, questing, naked eyes that probed you. The least coercive person I have ever seen never say, this is wrong, this is right. He never did. And at the end, no yet, at the end, you emerged with a piece that was both ennobled, uplifted, and for that time of your life, realizing all your potential. A fabulous teacher. It has 2 16s before it makes a big move. And those 2 16s rush and are too loud. Instead of doing ta, 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 ram, ta, 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 ram, and finally arrive there, this rush. Too loud, too early. So do it. That's it, beautiful. That's it. That's the very thing. That's it, wonderful. The coexistence of Bach, Haydn, Mozart, Beethoven, Schubert, all happened in Vienna and brought about a civilization of culture that didn't exist before nor after. The duration of the Masterclass in Vienna at the new academy was 3 years. I did it in 1 year and stayed then. And the following year I studied with Steuermann. That's where I met my husband. He was married to a wonderful English lady.
My name is Otto William Mandel, and I saw Lili the first time in 1929 when I was 12 years old, and she came off the ship in Dover. She went home with us, and a brisk and dynamic and very strong personality stepped into our life and changed it.
I didn't destroy this marriage. This marriage was already asunder, but they stayed together in perfect friendship because of the children.
She came into the drawing room of our house in London, in Regent's Park, and sat down at the piano. And suddenly that thing roared, but not out of pain, but out of joy. I suddenly understood that this was a communication thing, not a thing on which you play the little songs, but something with which you really communicate your profoundest soul.
How I adored my husband, who was absolutely everything for me. Lover, ideal, guidance, source of information, endless source of a wide garden being pruned. When I was pregnant, I saw the big mountains in Zermatt, in Switzerland. To be a mother by that father meant that the children were particularly adored because they were really conceived in total love.
The first impressions that I remember of Lili was going to sleep at night in our little nursery and hearing the music that she was playing coming from upstairs. It was always like the sun was shining especially bright when Lili was around.
I'm Michael Otto Mandl, and my first vivid memory of being at home, in our home in Menaggio on the Lago di Como in Italy, is underneath what appeared to be an enormous grand piano, listening to my mother practicing for hours and hours and hours. And that was a beautiful, peaceful, and happy memory. Those very beautiful moments of lying underneath the piano were unfortunately interspersed by what seemed to be enormously long periods of absence. When my mother was traveling abroad, she had a very active concert activity at that time, and I remember many periods when my mother wasn't there at all.
Every time you leave half of your life behind you. When I was at home, I was torn by the necessity to prepare my concerts, but dying with the wish to be with the children.